Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Glad to have you with us this week. We got a great show about a great place right here on Locust and Taylor Street in Reno. Tell you the whole story after we come back from this message. Harry's Quality Cars is Nevada-born, in business for over 45 years. Not like those California guys who are here today and gone tomorrow. Harry has always been there for you, and Harry knows what Nevadans want. Harry has sold thousands of vehicles to Nevada families with straight talk and an honest deal. Harry has the right price, the right financing, and the right vehicle with a 90-day warranty on all. Go there today and see why Harry has earned the trust of Nevadans for over 45 years. He must be doing something right. Hi friends, join us November 12th for a gala evening of wine, hors d'oeuvres, and beautiful music at the Marshall Mansion. Seldom open to the public, this is your chance to tour the fabulous Reno landmark. Enjoy your favorite beverages surrounded by soothing music as you view the world-class treasures hidden within this iconic home. Hosted by Roy and Cynthia Marshall, this is an evening you will long remember. Tickets are limited and benefit our educational programs, the Nevada Historical Society and the Veterans Guest House. Reserve yours today. Welcome, everybody, to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. Along with me, as usual, my sidekick, Roy Marshall. And welcome, Roy. Good to have you with us today.
Yeah.
And
good
our
to be here.
Special guest is Noreen Leary.
Hi, John.
How to do?
Nice to see you. I'm great.
Good to have you with us. Noreen is the CEO for a very special place, as I met in the beginning there, Locust and Taylor. You'll see this beautiful house, but it's actually for a special purpose called the Veterans Guest House. And it's got a great history. We're going to learn about that and what they're doing today and what their mission is and what we're going to look forward to in the future, not only on your own, but with Old Tales of Nevada, too,
right.
As we look forward to next month. So we got a great show in store. We look forward to the whole thing, and we're going to start by asking Noreen about where you came from. Noreen, you got quite the history. You come from a very special place yourself.
I'm born and raised in Butte, Montana.
Butte, Montana. Yeah.
I'm a daughter of a copper miner instead of the coal miner.
Copper mine. Did he work in the big pit?
No, long before the pit.
Oh, really?
It was deep level mining. He worked in something called the Mountain Con.
Yeah.
Butte's a mile above sea level, and the Mountain Con was more than a mile below sea level. I mean,
isn't that amazing?
Mile below the top. So it went underground, under sea
So
level.
at some point, I guess they figured they could open it up and get a lot more of the copper out.
My understanding, again, I was kind of
young.
I was younger when they did this. It was more cost effective. To pit mine.
Yeah.
What was that company's name?
Anaconda was the original Monday.
Anaconda Company.
Right, and then Arco bought it.
Right, Arco bought it, and then they never reopened it, did they?
There is someone who's mining it now.
Yeah, Mr. Washington went in there and broke the union and got a lot of concessions from the power company. I was there when all this was going on.
I'll let you tell.
I actually had a radio station in Anaconda, Montana, where the big mill was.
Right.
So they mine in Butte, and then they would go over and mill it in Anaconda.
Because there was a train, the Butte, Anaconda, and Pacific.
Yeah, right. They used to go back and forth.
Between.
Little do people know, it got so bad with the union there, not to get too far off the subject here, but the union had so many demands, and it got so expensive to transport it from Butte to Anaconda that the Anaconda Company started sending it all the way to Japan and all the way back for less money.
Well, and they built a smelter in Butte as well.
Yeah.
And that kind of happened when I was off at college. So and from there, I've kind of lost a little bit of the contact.
But anyway, a lot of rich history there.
A lot of history there, no question about that.
Yeah. So you went to school there? And
I graduated from Butte High School and then went on down to the University of Montana.
Oh, yeah.
In Missoula. And
beautiful.
Have a bachelor's in mathematics from there.
Okay. So there from Montana, how'd you wind up in Reno, Nevada?
Via Oregon, Washington, Massachusetts, London, England.
London, England.
And then Reno.
Were you in the military or what?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I taught school when I left. I thought I wanted to be a teacher, so I went out to Oregon, taught for a little while, and then ended up working for the Bonneville Power Administration.
Oh, okay.
In the electric utility industry, and that was up in Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
Then I had an opportunity to work for a venture capital company.
Oh, no kidding.
And out of Boston, rehabbing hydroelectric dams.
Wow, that's specialized.
That was kind of and I was their marketing director, and I decided I needed to get a business education. So I ended up going to London Business School and to the Sloan Fellowship Program.
Very nice.
And so that's what took me to London.
Yeah.
And then came back to the States in the middle of a recession in the 80s.
Yeah.
And couldn't get out of the electric utility industry because that's what you knew, and therefore that's what you should do.
Right.
And ended up coming here and working for the Sierra Pacific Power Company.
Sierra Pacific Power Company in those days. It's Nevada Energy now, right? Yeah. Owned by Mr. Buffett, I understand, right?
I believe that's true.
Yeah, at least it's part of his portfolio.
Yes.
Yeah. So what did you do at the power company here?
I was director of power and fuel contracts mainly.
Oh, okay.
So like the power from some of the geothermal plants around, buying and selling power at the between utilities. There's a lot of services go on that you don't. Well, I always thought you'd walk in, you flip the switch, you got electricity. But it's not that.
It
simple.
Doesn't happen that easy, right? You think it all comes right from the corner over here somewhere.
When I was with Bonneville, I used to run the river. The Columbia and Snake Rivers. We were doing 24-hour operation, and you decide how much water to let down the river, how much energy to generate.
Well, that's a big job.
Who to sell it to. I mean, there were a lot of people doing it.
A lot of people doing it, yeah.
Sure,
but you were
I was
overseeing.
part of that. No, I was part of the team.
Part of the team.
I was part of the team.
Well, that's an amazing thing.
But you learned a lot.
I guess. So did you retire from the power company?
I did not. I took a severance package in '95 when they were, looking at merging and doing those things, and I just said I didn't believe in the deregulation of the utility. I really thought it was a monopoly, should be treated that way. But life's been good since. I have no regrets.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of messed around for a little bit and ended up now at the.
How'd you get the association with the Veterans Guest House?
I'm a Rotarian.
Oh, okay.
And actually the board president and actually one of the founders of the guest house are Rotarians, and they were presenting the building of the house that you mentioned on the corner of Locust and Taylor.
Yeah.
And they decided they needed an executive director.
Oh, okay.
And they said, Noreen, what are you doing?
Nothing.
So I interviewed with a number of others and ultimately ended up with the position.
Fantastic. And how long have you been there now?
As of this month, I've been there 12 years.
12 years?
Since
Amazing.
2004.
Yeah, we had somebody way back in our radio days when we were doing the show that came on the show and gave us a thumbnail sketch about the Veterans House. I forget.
I think it was Richard Schuster.
Richard Schuster. Okay, that's who it was. Yeah,
he had been with the house for quite some time.
Yeah.
Was a board member.
We had him on the radio show.
We were on the radio show, Neil Cobb was with us then, and we had him on radio. But it has a great history, actually, and it's so unique. This is a place where veterans can go. But it's very unique. It's you don't see these kinds of places in other communities like we have here, right?
What we have here, to our knowledge, is one of a kind in the country.
One of a kind, yeah.
There are some homes called Fisher houses that are put together via a major foundation out of New York.
Right.
They would never build one in Reno. We're too small a VA system.
Yeah.
They just built one in Vegas.
Okay.
Half the capital comes from the community, half comes from the foundation.
Okay.
They're built on government ground, however.
Oh, okay.
They're gifted to in this case the VA,
right,
or on a DoD, Department of Defense, property.
Yeah.
And they're much more restrictive as to who can stay.
Yeah.
But the same concept.
Yeah.
We're still trying to take care of our veterans.
Yeah. We're going to get into how many people can be in there and so on and so forth as we go. But the history is quite unique too. As there were some very observant citizens out there that were seeing what was going on at the hospital. Are you
sure.
up on the history? Tell me about the history.
Absolutely. Yeah. The guys who founded it, Chuck Fulkerson was one of the main founders, and another one is Dick Rhino, but there are many others, and if I start listing them, I'll forget someone, and then I'll be in real trouble. But the guys used to go, they tell me they were going for appointments or to volunteer or something. I think they were heading to the canteen to have coffee.
Yeah, probably so.
Early in the morning. But what they would notice in the parking lot at the VA hospital was that the windows in the cars were fogged up. And that can only mean one thing: somebody slept in that vehicle for some period of time.
Right.
One morning, a woman was getting out of one of these cars, so they decided to invade her space a little bit, and she and her children had spent the night in the car.
Wow.
They had no means to go to a hotel or motel, and they knew no one in Reno to put them up for a few. Her husband and the father of these children was in the ICU at the hospital, and they were from Bishop, so they couldn't drive home, leave him here, so that was their thing. So those gentlemen, with many others, said, never again on our watch is this going to happen. And that was the beginning in the early 90s of what
Early
today...
90s?
Early 90s.
I remember that story. That's
Do you?
the story.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm repeating it pretty good?
Yeah.
I haven't.
You're doing good, yeah.
No, and it is the story, because I've heard it from Chuck.
Yeah.
So they started, getting a group together, getting their 501c3 compliance, which they did in 92, with a vision of helping veterans, U.S. military veterans, and their families in times of medical need.
Yeah,
so
wonderful.
that's the vision they had.
Yeah.
And that's the vision we're continuing to carry on.
What's really neat about your mission compared to, say, some of the other VA hospitals and the hostels that they have, I call it a hostel. I think that's what they call it too. And like in San Francisco, I was over there using the VA, and I had part of the family with me. I could have stayed at what they call a hostel over there, but it would have just been me.
Right.
I couldn't bring the family. And so your situation is different. The way you set it up is different. The whole family can stay there, right?
Right. We do three things. We take care of the veteran who's an outpatient. And typically when I'm talking, those individuals should live about 30 miles away.
Oh, okay.
That's not always the case.
Right.
And the nice thing about not being part of the government, we're a private nonprofit, is if it makes sense to do, we're going to do it.
Sure.
If it meets our mission, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the veteran who's an outpatient at any hospital, any doctor's office, they just have to be able to show us their veteran status.
Okay.
And they have to show us that they have a medical appointment.
Right.
Again, with HIPAA, we don't need to know what it is. We just need to know that it does exist. That veteran has to be able to take care of him or herself, or have a caregiver with them.
Okay.
So there again, they can bring anyone they want. They can also, as we all know, when we go to the doctor, particularly when we're not feeling well, it's always nice to have that second person sitting there who can help us understand what that doctor's saying.
Yeah.
Make sure what the doctor says is what we do when we walk out of the room.
Sure.
So we have no problem with them bringing a wife, a neighbor, a friend, a son, a daughter, whatever.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, we're going to take a break here, and we'll get into some of the services you do provide in the house there, which is rather substantial. So we want to invite you to stay tuned. We'll be back with Noreen and more about the Veterans Guest House, a thing that really brings us pride to have right here in Northern Nevada. So stay tuned.
Find that perfect summer fashion at Boutique Elegante. For the beach, boating at the lake, a patio party, or those summer outings, we offer great prices, beautiful styling, and your own personalized service. All of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop, located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first. Hi friends, join us November 12th for a gala evening of wine, hors d'oeuvres, and beautiful music at the Marshall Mansion. Seldom open to the public, this is your chance to tour the fabulous Reno landmark. Enjoy your favorite beverages surrounded by soothing music as you view the world-class treasures hidden within this iconic home. Hosted by Roy and Cynthia Marshall, this is an evening you will long remember. Tickets are limited and benefit our educational programs, the Nevada Historical Society and the Veterans Guest House. Reserve yours today.
Find that perfect summer fashion at Boutique Elegante. For the beach, boating at the lake, a patio party, or those summer outings, we offer great prices, beautiful styling, and your own personalized service. All of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Harry's Quality Cars is Nevada-born, in business for over 45 years. Not like those California guys who are here today and gone tomorrow. Harry has always been there for you, and Harry knows what Nevadans want. Harry has sold thousands of vehicles to Nevada families with straight talk and an honest deal. Harry has the right price, the right financing, and the right vehicle with a 90-day warranty on all. Go there today and see why Harry has earned the trust of Nevadans for over 45 years. He must be doing something right.
We're back here on Old Tales Nevada, past and present. We're talking with Noreen Leary, who is the CEO of the Veterans Guest House located on Locust and Taylor Street, and great things happening over there. As I left the first segment, I said it's a place that brings us great pride to have it right here in Northern Nevada. And in the beginning of the show, I forgot to go to Roy, because Roy always tells us why we do the show, and that's part of it. So, Roy, tell us a little bit more about our mission ourselves here.
You betcha. Well, our mission and the reason for having this show is to record the people who have been major leaders or community supporters of our area who have done great things.
Right.
Especially for the establishment of the area.
Right.
So basically our goal are to catch these individuals before they pass away, actually,
right,
to record their history so that it goes into the Nevada State Historical Society,
right,
and the Special Documents Division at UNR.
Right.
And the Nevada Guest House, for example, we've had on the show before, because this is a very noted part of the history of our area, too, with the First Red Cross and then other legions that were created during the 1800s to basically take care of not only Abraham Lincoln's vets, but also a lot of miners that were falling down shafts and stuff.
Yeah. We've always been a very concerned community about medical things and tried to take care of those folks who need help. For example, in the Comstock, they had the nuns up there at that St. Mary's Hospital, which is still standing up there.
Sisters of Charity.
Sisters of Charity. And so we've always had that kind of interest, and makes us a very tight-knit community that way, doesn't it, huh? A caring community, and of course the Veterans Guest House is a shining example of that. So the house itself, in the beginning, certainly didn't look like it does now.
No.
Yeah, the original house was, how did they acquire that house? It was for lease.
It was
for lease.
Initially, they leased it.
Oh, okay.
It was a 1935 vintage, bungalow. Yeah. 1,300 square feet. And they actually used, and then someone passed away and left them enough money to actually purchase it.
Oh, okay.
So ultimately they did own the property.
Okay. Now, was it a couple of folks that got involved and did that? Was it casino people? I understood it was some casino people that wanted to do it, but they did it anonymously.
That I don't know.
You don't know?
That's not a story
I think Schuster mentioned that to us, didn't he, Roy, when he was on the show?
I wanted to ask Noreen. I'm involved with some of the doctors over at the vet hospital, Les Peacock and others. I'm just wondering, the $142,000 allotment for our area for military personnel for that vet hospital. Has that changed any, or you don't know?
No, I think they just received, I think it's $190,000.
Oh, 190.
They have,
I knew they had 40 or 50 more than they could handle.
Well, they need 200. I thought it was a $250,000 project. So it's actually a very major project that they're going to undertake. And my understanding is late next year they'll start.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is
and
that
it's
when they're going to start?
You know, the entry on Kerman, and then they built a new building on the corner of Kerman and Taylor. In between there is where all this work is going to go on.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not, you know, they have some things to do to the existing building to make sure it's earthquake proof, and you know, those to bring it up to today's standards. But then they're going to add a number of other
it's an older
areas.
Building, that vet hospital.
Oh, the original building. You know how old that vet hospital is?
I think the original part of it was, I'm going to say, was built in the 20s or 30s.
Yeah. And isn't it kind of unique to have a hospital of that size in a town this size? I mean, we're kind of a small town compared to
that. I can't really answer. I mean, it's an. I don't know if you've been. You've been in it.
Yeah,
troops,
I go there all the time. Actually,
it's a lot of troops though that have been scheduled for this area, more than what the area can handle.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah. There's 120,000 veterans.
Wow.
Located in the VA Medical Center's service area.
Oh, no kidding.
And that service area is 100,000 square miles.
No kidding. Wow.
Okay, so it goes all the way, really you have all of northern Nevada.
Yeah.
And the Las Vegas area, you know, down there goes to Las Vegas.
Sure.
But you have all of northern Nevada. Elko and Ely have they can choose to go here to Reno or to go to Salt Lake.
Salt Lake City,
because they're equidistant.
Yeah.
But then we also, it comes up the eastern slope of California.
Okay.
So from Bishop all the way on up to Alturas.
So you have all those California.
And it has Auburn and Grass Valley and Nevada City. They
a lot of rural.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people come here. Mammoth, Quincy, Susanville.
Yeah. You know, I'm just blown away by the service over there. I go there myself. I have a choice between Medicare and the VA. And I choose to go to the VA. And you know why? Because the service is just outstanding. I hear all these horror stories about the VA and waiting for appointments and everything. You know what they do with me? They call me and they say, John, you got to come in and do this, or you got to come in and do that. I went over there the other day unannounced. I had a pulled ligament in my leg, and I didn't know if I broke something. So I go over there, and they said, sit down for a few minutes, and we'll get a doctor to you. I wasn't there 15 minutes, and I saw somebody, and it was busy. It was a busy place. So I am totally in favor of this hospital. I think it's fantastic.
I don't get my care there.
Yeah.
I'm not a veteran, but I know that certainly the people who stay with us, who are getting their care there. My understanding is it's rated as one of the top VA medical centers in the country, which is a good thing as well.
Yeah, people are dedicated. They're not there for the profit. They're there to serve the veterans. And
we have a very good relationship with them. We don't have a legal or financial relationship with them at all.
Right.
So if somebody wants to complain, it doesn't do them any good to complain about about the guest house over at the medical center. But we do work really closely with their social workers and their nurses and their doctors and their emergency room to make sure that we're taking care of people that need to be taken care of.
So I'm a vet. I come
most
in from
of the doctors over there are ex-military personnel also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of them have actually transferred from the civilian side back into the VA because they find it more fulfilling to be a VA doctor because it's not for profit. They're not running people through there every 10 minutes. They actually give you a whole half hour, with the doctor when you go in for your general check.
Well, and my understanding is if you're enrolling for the first time, the day you enroll, if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, they'll get you an appointment that day.
Yeah.
With a primary so that you can get started.
Sure, and you might have to wait a week or two, but if you have an emergency situation, they get you right in. I've seen it happen. So I come in from out of town. I'm an out-of-town vet. I come in with my kids and my family. I'm going to have some heavy work done over there at the hospital, and they say go to the Veterans Guest House. Can you service that quickly, or is it good for people to call first to make reservations with you?
Well, we'd like to know ahead of time. The sooner, and people do. They call us directly, or sometimes a social worker from the VA will call over and say, John's coming in next week, and John and his wife need a place to stay, so can you handle it?
Right.
We have We have 17 beds right now.
17.
We're running at an 85% occupancy for the year.
Great.
Which any hotel in town would love to have.
They would love to have
any
that.
Any hotel anywhere would love to have that. Our peak days are Sunday through Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And we're actually running at over 100% on those days.
No kidding.
And you say, well, how can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, we have a wonderful partner in the Sands.
Right.
And they take our overflow every night.
Wonderful.
So anything over the 17 or 19, I say 19 because we have 2 queen beds. And if the stars align, and we can fill those the right way, then we do. But they'll take everything over that.
That's amazing.
And
actually, it's rather substantial at times, the overflow. Isn't it
is. We've had nights of 36, 37.
Yeah.
So if we can only take 19, the rest, thank God for the Sands.
Yeah.
So.
And we were visiting with you the other day. You do have plans for expansion coming up. You can't really talk about.
Oh, sure I can.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay. Well, tell us about the expansion.
Okay, but at some point I want to go back and talk about who can stay.
Oh, okay.
Because we kind of stepped over that.
Okay.
But I mentioned we have 17 beds, and sometimes we have 35 people, 25 people staying.
Right.
We've designed a new expansion project, and thanks to a wonderful anonymous donor, we own some property right adjacent to where we are. And so we're going to be able to, once we raise enough money, we're looking for $4 million, and we have about $2 million of that right now, so hopefully we can find the rest of it. We'll move from 17 beds to 33.
Oh, double in size.
We're going to double in size, and we really think that that's needed and will be needed for a long time to come.
Yeah, okay, so let's go back to your people who can stay there.
Well, I mentioned the veteran who's an outpatient, and that can be once a year annual, physical. Some people, that's all they do. Other people, they're dealing with PTSD, so they're in once a month or as often as they need to for their care. We handle men and women who are undergoing cancer treatments, and that can be up to 9-10 weeks depending on what's going on, or intermittently depending again on what they're taking and what the course of treatment is. Then we have the family of any veteran who's hospitalized.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to reiterate, it doesn't have to be at the VA hospital.
Okay.
It can be at any of our hospitals or doctors.
Any of the hospitals?
Any place.
Okay.
There's an alternative cancer treatment center here in Reno, and we've had a number of patients from there stay with us.
Sure.
So, we don't care about that. The third one, which is where we really differ, is our... the family is so important to our veterans. You all know that if you've served or you know someone who's serving, that if it's the immediate family member that's ill, then we're going to take care of that family member and that veteran to support that family member.
Wonderful.
So we've had couples where the wife has breast cancer out of Tonopah. The only place she can get her care is at Renown.
Oh, okay. So you take care of it? Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah. So that's the nice part about being private compared to governmental. You don't have you can play it by ear.
As long as it makes sense, as long as it fits our vision. And we say veterans, but it's active duty as well.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful couple come down from Winnemucca, and they were scheduled to give birth around New Year's.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to be on, worried about weather and that kind of thing. So they stayed with us.
Oh, super.
So that, she could deliver the next day.
That's great. Well, listen, we got to take another break here. We'll come back. I want to get into what you do in the house, for people, which is pretty cool, too. So stay tuned. More Old Tales of Nevada, past and present, right after this.
Hi friends, join us November 12th for a gala evening of wine, hors d'oeuvres, and beautiful music at the Marshall Mansion. Seldom open to the public, this is your chance to tour the fabulous Reno landmark. Enjoy your favorite beverages surrounded by soothing music as you view the world-class treasures hidden within this iconic home. Hosted by Roy and Cynthia Marshall, this is an evening you will long remember. Tickets are limited and benefit our educational programs, the Nevada Historical Society and the Veterans Guest House. Reserve yours today.
Yikes! Look what's in your carpet and tile. Dirty, nasty dust mites, bacteria, germs, and pet odor. Make the right choice and call A-Choice Carpet and Tile Cleaning today. They use a 2-step system that removes all that nasty stuff from your carpet and tile, and they offer baby-safe cleaning products. Call A-Choice today. The first 25 customers to call will get 3 rooms cleaned for the price of 2. Call today, 745-1863.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find the unexpected gift that will be treasured for all time, with one of the largest beer and sun purple glassware collections on the West Coast, vintage toys, Roseville, Flow Blue, casino and brothel memorabilia, Fenton glassware, antique kerosene lamps, sports memorabilia, vintage neon, and automobile ads. Yes, the unexpected. Find a gift that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time in Reno.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop.
Welcome back to Old Tales Nevada, past and present. We're talking with Noreen Leary from Butte, Montana, at least originally. And we were just reminiscing about our time in Montana. She was born in St. James Hospital up there, and my kids, at least one of them, were born in St. James Hospital right there in Butte, Montana. I remember the ride over from Anaconda with my wife. That was kind of an exciting
time. As long as it wasn't winter, it was probably okay.
It was crazy. But anyway, everything turned out great. But it's funny how, you mentioned earlier about the nuns up in the Comstock running the hospital in there. A lot of the religious groups ran hospitals in those days, even right down here in Reno, St. Mary's, huh?
Yeah, well, the religious part did coincide with the hospital up in Virginia City.
Yeah.
Because both, most people that were getting in the hospital were miners.
Yeah.
That were there that went to the churches there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the unions, the miners, the unions, they organized the hospital, and then the sisters up there from that charity ran.
The Red Cross was really big in the 1830s to about the 1880s, and they were the major outfit out there, saving the soldiers and saving the miners up there.
Yeah.
They had tents behind the town hospital where a lot of the people went because there wasn't any room in the hospital.
Wasn't any room in the inn, huh?
No.
Well, that's what this whole thing's about right here, Veterans Guest House, is to make sure we have room for these folks to be taken care of. Now, okay, so you're in the guest house, you're registered, your family's there, so you have to run out and get McDonald's hamburgers and take care of yourself. What's the deal as far as those kinds of services are concerned?
It's a home.
It's a home.
We call it a home away from home, and it truly is. So there's a kitchen there, so if somebody wants to cook, they can cook as long as they clean up after themselves.
Oh, that's always, I have to do that at home.
And we're not caregivers, so if somebody can't take care of themselves, they really need someone with them.
I see.
I tell everyone I can dial 911 with the best, if something happens. And that's just our role. We're there to provide a supportive place to stay, that's clean, that gives them things. We provide a continental breakfast in the morning.
Oh, nice.
They're on their own for lunch and dinner. However, thanks to this wonderful community, our cupboards are full, and so it won't be steak and lobster, but it will be what they might want.
Yeah, very nice.
Cup of soup. The veterans love Vienna sausages and Spam.
That's probably what they ate when they're out in the field.
So that if we put those in the cupboard, we know they're going to be gone.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
no
Spam.
Beer.
Fried Spam sandwiches, boy.
We're no smoking, no drinking, no illegal drug house. They can smoke outside, but they can't smoke inside.
We were in there the other day. It's immaculate inside.
We try. I think sanitation is important.
Oh, absolutely.
And cleanliness and just a comfortable place. I think when anybody...
Noreen, how would be the best way for the soldiers to contact you? By phone or by your online
either way, they
website?
They can email us if they want.
Your website has a place.
Website is very nice.
Right. There's an email that you can send to us, or again, calling I think is the best way to start, because we'll find out more about you and what what your need is, and it's helpful to us if you already have an appointment scheduled. Now, if you're trying to schedule something major or whatever, we understand, but at least you'll know what services we provide.
Her number on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it on our show.
But our website is great, so you can see it. There's lots of pictures.
What's it called?
It's veteransguesthouse.org.
Yeah, that easy.
Yeah, it's just remember to put an S on veterans.
Yeah, comes right up.
Comes right up, and we have a great Facebook page.
Sure.
So you can see what we're up to and what's going on there.
It's great. Great.
But
a lot of comments from the veterans on there as well. Yeah.
The house, as far as meals, we have a lot of groups, religious groups in particular, but a lot of just groups that are bringing in dinners now.
Isn't that something?
And it's so much fun. I mean, we've got some of our guys will call and they'll go, when's the next? I'm coming in on the 3rd. Is there a dinner? Or I'm trying to make my appointment. What day is there a dinner so I can make my appointment that
Isn't
day?
That something?
Because a lot of, again, the single guys in particular live by themselves. I don't know how they're eating, okay? But it's not a home-cooked meal.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys that I see at the VA are older men, too.
Right.
I mean, I'm older myself,
Aren't we all?
but they're older in the sense that they've been wounded in battle and they have a lot of disabilities and they're not getting around very well.
Yeah, our average, I think the bulk of who we see right now is our Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with a lot of cancers from Agent Orange, dealing with a lot of different things. And, that's our bulk. I mean, we see a lot of Koreans still and a number of the other activities conflicts or when people weren't, when there wasn't a conflict. I mean, they were serving, but things happened then too.
Right. I was in the Vietnam era. I wasn't in theater, like they say, but I was definitely in the support part of it. I was a fireman back then.
And everybody had their part to play.
Yeah, got to put out fires, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
That's right. That's right. So it's a wonderful thing to have that. Because going to San Francisco, I had to make my own arrangements. I had to go out and get a hotel room. In San Francisco, hotel rooms are expensive.
Right. Absolutely. And we ask those who stay with us to give us a donation of $25 a night if they can afford it.
If they can afford it.
But no one is turned away for an inability to pay.
Sure.
And we don't ask them all sorts of things. I mean, I've had gentlemen who want to hand you the last $10 bill in their wallet, and we're not taking that.
No.
They need that for whatever might come up that they need it for. We've got a great community. Our financing is all private. There's no government money.
I was going to ask you that, how you're funded.
Yeah, there's no government money. The bulk of our money actually comes from individuals.
Oh, I see.
But we have foundations and corporations and,
How many paid staff do you have, Noreen, other than yourself?
We have a total of three and a half paid staff, and then we have a night manager in her apartment. Is part of her pay, and then some. So,
wow, you do all that work with 4 people. That's amazing.
Yeah, some days we're wondering
how to do that. Yeah. Who's your
we have
sidekick?
a lot of volunteers.
Who's your sidekick over there?
Oh, Kathy McGathy is our house manager.
Yeah,
she's great. And Linda Grace handles our social networking. And
and
events and. Things like that. And a lot of people put events on for us. Like
we're going to do. We're going to talk about in our next segment.
Right.
Music at the Mansion is a fundraiser for all of us, for Old Tales of Nevada, for the Veterans Guest House, and for the Historical Society. We'll give more detail on that. But do you get a lot of donations that way because of fundraisers for you?
There are a lot of things. I mean, a young woman who's actually the niece of Chuck Fulkerson, one of our founders, put together I'm going to mess this up, a calendar. But it's the dolls kind of concept, and with cars. It's really a cool calendar.
Neat.
And the net proceeds come to us.
Yeah.
I just read an email this morning from a school.
Yeah.
They're wanting to do something for us.
Yeah.
So it's, we've got a number of groups, Bickford and Angier, they do a golf tournament for us. Just this weekend, I was golfing down in Carson.
You're pretty good golfer.
No, it's that twice a year you pull out the clubs.
Right, client golf. You call that, right.
As long as it's scramble, I don't care.
There you go. No, that's fun. I'm glad you do that. So you got funds coming from
lots of different
places. That's wonderful. It seems like there was a time, especially back after the Vietnam War, that the veterans weren't in vogue. and they were looked down upon and not treated too well. And then it changed with the Gulf War and beyond.
And very honestly, what I've seen is it's the Vietnam veterans who have made that change happen.
Yeah, they did it.
They're the ones who said, we're going to welcome these young men and women home.
Sure.
After Afghanistan and Iraq and all of those services.
Because they didn't want the same thing to happen.
And that has grown. And, if you ever meet a veteran or particularly if it's a Vietnam veteran, and I'll say this to you, welcome home.
Yeah, really.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service. Those aren't words that fall.
They don't fall. They didn't fall back in those days.
But now, I'll go up to people and say that, and they're not quite sure what to say, and I don't expect them to say anything.
Yes,
and
really.
That's all I wanted to do was say thanks.
Yeah. I remember coming back from Philippines and landing at Travis Air Force Base, right? And it was December, and it was but there was absolutely nobody on the tarmac. There was nobody anywhere. And then you go into San Francisco to take the plane home, and they were still demonstrating in those days about being against the war and against the vets and all that kind of stuff. It's
really nice to see the young children today.
Yeah.
The youth, supporting our veterans.
Doreen, I wanted to mention a couple of things to you while you're here. Gonzalo, who works for me, he's the master of ceremonies for the local bishop. And some groups that you haven't really tried that may have an interest are the Knights of Malta and some of the knights that are involved with the Catholic religion. And some of them have mucho buccos.
Mucho buccos, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I like that.
And they also like the Veterans Hospital. I worked off and on for the U.S. State Department and the security part of the State Department for VIP guests in the United States.
Okay.
And I don't go to the Veteran Hospital, but I could if I wanted to. But I stay as far away from doctors, almost kill me every time I get down. The doctors can get you as worse.
Yeah, once you get into that cauldron, it
just keeps going around. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, you're going to be leaving us here shortly. What's the future look like for the Veterans Guest House? When I say leave, you're going to be leaving the show because you got another appointment. But what's the future? You got the expansion.
We got the expansion. That's it, and then continue to fundraise operations. It's two pronged. Just like when you go to church, it's like we've got a capital campaign. We've got a building campaign, they might call it, and then we've got to keep the operations going. So
one thing I was going to ask you: do other communities that have VA hospitals, have they ever contacted you to see how you're doing your work, to see if that could be replicated in other parts of the country?
Every once in a while we'll get a phone call. We offer that we're happy to share whatever we can with them. At one point I think even our board talked about, well, maybe we should go replicate these in some areas where the Fisher House wouldn't go in. They're too small. But we've got a job on our hands just taking care of the one we have here.
But that again shows how unique our community is.
Absolutely.
And how caring our community is, because we're handling this and it's getting bigger and better all the time. So you're doing a wonderful job there.
We're proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. And we're proud that we're having it here and that we're taking care of our veterans as we are, and it surely makes a hospital visit so much easier to deal with.
Well, that's what our guests tell us. It made a whole world of difference to them regardless of what the situation was.
Well, we're going to look forward to being with you on our special event, Music in the Mansion. Our next segment's going to handle that. We're going to say goodbye to Noreen, but stay tuned. We'll be back with details about Music on the Mansion, where we're benefiting the guest house and the Historical Society, as well as Old Tales of Nevada. So we'll be right back.
Hi friends, join us November 12th for a gala evening of wine, hors d'oeuvres, and beautiful music at the Marshall Mansion. Seldom open to the public, this is your chance to tour the fabulous Reno landmark. Enjoy your favorite beverages surrounded by soothing music as you view the world-class treasures hidden within this iconic home. Hosted by Roy and Cynthia Marshall, this is an evening you will long remember. Tickets are limited and benefit our educational programs, the Nevada Historical Society and the Veterans Guest House. Reserve yours today.
Harry's Quality Cars is Nevada-born, in business for over 45 years. Not like those California guys who are here today and gone tomorrow. Harry has always been there for you, and Harry knows what Nevadans want. Harry has sold thousands of vehicles to Nevada families with straight talk and an honest deal. Harry has the right price, the right financing, and the right vehicle with a 90-day warranty on all. Go there today and see why Harry has earned the trust of Nevadans for over 45 years. He must be doing something right.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop.
Back for our last segment here of Old Tales of Nevada, past and present for this week. And what a great story that is, huh, Roy, about the Veterans Guest House, how it started and how our community just jumped right in there. They saw the need and took care of it.
I think really that this area has done a much better job than the other rural communities in Wyoming and
I think
Montana and Idaho have not done quite as good a job as what we've done.
Well, we just have a giving spirit here. We're always ready to
during
participate.
The 60s and 70s and 50s here, many of the people that lived in Reno were retired government people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I kind of followed that group as they came out here.
Yeah. Great place to retire, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it myself. One thing about Reno, you can retire without, spending a whole bunch of money.
Well, if you were involved in some certain segment of the government in which you really don't want to be involved with them anymore, this is a good place to come.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We're still a Wild West.
Stay away from them.
Stay away from the California border. You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Larry Elliott with us.
You betcha.
And back with us. And we talked in our previous segment with Noreen about this fundraiser we're going to do, and it is November 12th.
It's our first one.
It's going to be right here at the mansion, and you have been so kind as to open your house, which doesn't happen very often. I mean, we shoot our show here at the pool room, which is an amazing structure that you built when you came here. And a lot of people drive by, they go by the fence outside and they say, oh, wow, who lives there? And what's that house like? And what's in there? Well, here's the opportunity.
I used to have the bear out there.
The bear?
Yeah.
Oh, people still talk about the bear.
Yeah.
People still talk about that bear.
Oh, always.
And it came up the other day about the bear. So anyway, we're going to give people, the public, to be able to come into the house, tour the house, enjoy some wine, some hors d'oeuvres, and enjoy some beautiful music provided by Larry Elliott and some associates of yours, right, Larry? And
you and Jim.
Oh, yeah, right.
Production aficionados.
We're going to hum a tune. No.
Yeah.
No, we are producing at Joe Bowman Associates, which is our real company.
Sure.
Doing business as Old Tales of Nevada are the producers of the show. And along with you, Roy, of course, who is part of that. Yes. And we are doing it as a fundraiser for Old Tales of Nevada. And Old Tales of Nevada is going to take the proceeds of this money and use it for scholarships and for better production and be able to go out on location and do shots where people have not gone to do TV shows, and this will be part of history of Nevada.
Star Trek of Nevada.
Absolutely.
To go where no man has gone before.
Absolutely. So, and then the Veterans Guest House is going to benefit from it, along with the Historical Society. So we've got a lot of great plans for any money that does come in from this fundraiser. And a big part of the event is the music that you're going to be providing for us in different ways. So
well, when you say provide, John, really... It's in the stream of production.
Okay.
In other words, Jim explains to me that he wants a party atmosphere, but he wants it classy.
Yeah.
He wants everybody to have a good time.
Right.
But in keeping with the wonderful
ambiance,
antique ambiance of all Hugh Roy's stuff. When you were a kid, did you ever, like, a friend would come over and you drag out all your stuff to show them, right? You know, like, I got this model.
All our little military soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good question we never asked you, because you are a collector now, but you were a collector when you were a young kid too? Did you collect different things?
Yeah, I really did. I really collected money.
Oh.
Anybody's money.
That's good.
Don't you have those old coins? Yeah, they're gonna be, there's a penny. Yeah. I started collecting when I was just about 7.
No kidding.
8, yeah.
So it's carried on. So this house, this mansion, is full of his collections, right, Larry?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been coming here for, 3-4 years, you know, to the parties and broadcasts and stuff, and there's always another doodad that because everything is shiny and brand new, you know, and it's got the story behind it, you know, and of course you're always there to fill me in on which saint is which, and
that's right,
and all that kind of stuff.
Well, there's so many different facets to the house that we're not going to divulge, but there are many hours you can spend in here just looking at the walls, looking at the pictures, looking at the gems, the special precious stones that he has here in the house that he's collected over all these years. So it's an amazing experience, and we're going to charge $35 per head on this one, $35 per person.
Open bar.
Well, wine and beer.
Wine and beer. That's good.
And there might be an opportunity to purchase, hard liquor. We don't know yet. We're working on that.
A more select brand.
More select brand or something. But anyway, wine, light hors d'oeuvres, and just music. So what's the music menu going to be?
Well, as we enter the front door, and we are greeted by Smiling Jim and Jolly John.
Jolly John. I've never been described that way before.
Well, I'm saying it right now. As soon as I found out you were a fireman.
Yes.
I never knew. I love firemen.
I do too, actually. Yeah.
Well,
I think they're some of the best people in the world.
They are.
You know, they're very risk takers.
Yes.
They're usually pretty positive folks.
Absolutely.
And they care a lot.
They show up at a catastrophe and they make it better.
They go in instead of out.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like the World Trade Center folks.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were going in, everybody was coming out.
Yes. Well, anyway, in the spirit of that, we're going to have Abigail Pastrell playing the harp as they enter.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody play a harp? I don't think I can recall being in the same room with somebody playing.
It's amazing. It's amazing feeling.
I like it.
Yeah. What a sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay.
And then as they move through, we're going to have a little demonstration of Hugh Roy's harpsichord in there. Is that French?
How old is that harpsichord?
It's the very end of the 1700s.
That's
really?
What I thought.
That's about as old as the couches and chairs we're sitting.
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
This is an old one. This one's from the 1600s. From France.
1600s.
It's getting damaged, but it's been around for quite a while too.
It's amazing. I mean, 1600s.
Yeah, in a museum, you wouldn't get a chance to sit in a chair like that.
No, it'd be roped off.
400 years old, you know.
What's going to be nice about this, Larry, is that they can filter through the whole house. We're not going to have the bedrooms open, of course.
Oh, no.
Anything downstairs, they'll be able to just browse around, sit on the couch, whatever. See what it's like to be in this pool room, which you were telling me, right? $4.5 million, 2.5 years to build it. That's an amazing project.
Yeah. Well, I copied it from the Hotel Chantilly over in Paris. They're tearing it down.
Right.
And I bought their domes from them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's gorgeous. People need to see this in person.
Yeah.
Got to be careful when you come in the pool room, right? You're right. That you don't look up.
The U.S. State Department would contact me in Houston to entertain these people.
Wow.
And then they would, the Secret Service would be babysitting each group of these people.
Wow.
So that's really how I got involved with these different foreign countries that wanted me to do work for them.
Yeah.
And then the people who are the ancestry of France, the Lobkoviches, became friends of mine, and they were from the Queen of France.
Wow.
So, and then the same thing with the Germans and the English and all the rest of these places. They have, their ancestry.
Yeah.
Who was the people who were in charge? But they're not really in charge anymore. Like the Queen in England.
It's all symbols.
She doesn't have a lot of work to do.
Figureheads.
But she's just figurehead.
But you did a fabulous job in building.
But it's important for our country to do that and to do that well.
Mm-hmm.
When they come over here to take good care of them. We haven't had a very good department here in Nevada, and of course I've been kind of
you've been pushing that for a long time.
About that, but eventually we'll. But we don't have many people here either.
Yeah. Well, you brought VIPs into this room; they had to be impressed. So we're going to have the public here. It's open to the public. So so you're talking about the harpsichord, and then who else is going to be?
Oh, and then they'll hear our pianist, playing cocktail music and stuff, and then the fabulous 5-star Las Vegas entertainment of Jackie Ford will be mixing in with that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And then also I've got some guest singers coming in. Nevada opera singer, tenor Gustavo, yes, and a Celine Dion tribute that Jim has been asking for years. God Bless America. Yes. And then at the very end, we're all going to get jiggy with it.
What about you and your music machine?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, my friend.
You're going to be playing that as well.
Playing that
somewhere.
Yeah. I'm bringing my DJ Larry rig.
DJ Larry, okay.
And we're going to do a little Motown hits and Beatles stuff towards the end.
Yeah. Well, you know what's going to be neat? You're going to meet a lot of people from the community that are very interested in history. Others who are curious about the house. Business people. You're going to make a lot. It's going to be a great networking opportunity. And we do ask, business attire, whatever that is to you.
Something interesting, at least.
Something interesting.
Something colorful.
That's interesting, right there. And
that tie of yours is pretty darn colorful.
Well, thank you very much.
You're trying to match them with your vest here.
What kind of
tie pretty close?
Yeah, maybe we could trade.
It would go with that.
And then we could get his, what do you call that? Bolo. The bolo. He doesn't part with that.
No. His choker. Oh, no. That
might not bring it back.
That's the real deal. Me and you would have brass. That isn't brass.
That isn't brass. No, not at all. So anyway, $35 per person. Very, very much worth it. There'll also be a silent auction, which we hope people will partake. We're going to have some very unusual items there, including the opportunity to have lunch with Mark Amadei, up to 6 people. Now, that is a valuable auction item.
Jim did a good job.
Jim did a good job in putting that together for us.
And in my research, I have found deep within the confines of Virginia City, I found an old bridle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to put that up on the auction?
I'm going to put it on the auction.
Right.
I looked at it, and I immediately saw your face, my friend.
I've had that said to me before. I've had that said about me before, except it's the other end of the horse. You know what I mean?
He's had people try to ride him before.
Anyway, okay, so how do we buy tickets, right? You can go over to Buy Nevada First in the Reno Town Mall. You can buy tickets there. There also, you can call 379-2196, which is Jim Webster's number, and he'll take your reservation. 2196.
Yes.
And get it that way. And we're also, as we move forward, I'll give you a way to do it via online on PayPal. So there's a lot of different ways to buy the tickets, and we want to invite as many as possible, although we only have 200 tickets to actually sell. So get it, and you become a friend of Nevada.
That's right.
You get a little pin, you get discounts at our different that we work with, and
I think probably a lot of this Wild Mustang group will be here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
People want to invest in our new ingot series and or get involved with the horses.
Our tickets are going to go fast.
Mustangs of Nevada.
So anyway, we need to thank Noreen for being with us today. Of course, you, Roy, thanks for having us here at the mansion. Larry, thanks for helping us with the special event, and thank the audience for supporting us in this endeavor. And we want to invite you back next week for another episode of Old Tales Nevada, Past and Present. In the meantime, this is John O'Brien saying goodbye, and have a great Nevada day.